The energy expert Chris Yelland joins us for some insights. Chris, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. As my colleague says, the high cost of electricity remains a challenge. How should one interpret this outcome?
Look, it's a very satisfying, performance by Eskom from their point of view and from the country's point of view. I think we should really congratulate them for this complete turnaround. And it might be interesting just to run through with you some of the big ticket items that have resulted, in this turnaround financially.
Yeah, sure.
So look, there's four major items that I've identified, and you've touched on them in your earlier discussions. And firstly, the reduction in the diesel spend has really added 16 billion rands to the bottom line. And this is really as a result of improved management and improved maintenance and improved performance on the plant, the coal-fired plant. Has resulted, and also I think we should also give credit to the fact that there has been, private sector generation, rooftop solar PV, grid-connected PV, battery storage, and wind, which have, eased the burden on Eskom's plant. So this has all helped in reducing the diesel spend by 16 billion. There has been a 12 billion rebate from SARS. This is a rebate on diesel purchases because in the price of diesel are levies, for road transport. And when you use diesel for power generation, you're not using the roads. And so you're entitled to get a rebate back from SARS, which they received this year of 12 billion rand. The other thing, of course, the significant addition to the bottom line is 25 billion approximately, from the price increase. The price increase of about 12.5% this last financial year would have added 25 billion to the bottom line. And lastly, the bailouts received from National Treasury, from the government, from the taxpayer effectively, has resulted in a reduction of finance costs this last year of 5 billion rand. So if you add that up, 16 billion plus 12 billion plus 25 billion plus 5 billion, that really explains the major financial turnaround that you've seen.
Do you think that, the public or government should interpret this profitability as a sign of recovery, or is it a temporary relief masking deeper structural problems? Because on the other side of this, there's also the growing municipal debt that is unaccounted for.
Yeah, look, there's two major, three major threats, I would say, that Eskom is facing. And yes, you're absolutely right. The municipal arrear debt is completely out of hand. It has grown by 20 billion rand, or 27% this last year. So over 1 year, the arrear debt has increased by 20 billion. That's about 1.5 billion rand per month increase in arrear debt. This is really alarming, and Eskom are very worried about this. Something has to be done. It's not sustainable. And the other area that was highlighted was electricity theft. And so you've got these two things: electricity theft, the fraud in the prepayment meter area, token ghost vending, and other high-level fraud that has taken place within Eskom and outside of Eskom. And that's also costing Eskom, billions of rands a year, typically about 25 billion rand. Now, if you look at the municipal arrear debt of 20 billion growth and the theft of 25 billion, that's 45 billion rand. Now, if you could solve those problems, Eskom would be flush with cash, and you could even see price reductions.
So with the profits at the moment, Chris, where should they go? Because there is still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, there are massive investments required ahead. Firstly, just to note that the minister made it absolutely clear today, there will be no more bailouts from government. Look, there have been massive bailouts, over 200 billion rand of bailouts coming from the taxpayer, which means the public actually, and they're not going to get that in future. But yeah, these profits, they're going to need them to fund the investments that are required in Eskom, upgrading the transmission grid. That's going to require about 300 to 400 billion rand over the next 10 years. And Eskom can't do it alone. It can't do it on its own profits. So that's why they're looking at these new business models of concessioning out or issuing, putting out to tender concessions for new transmission corridors that would be, designed and built and operated by private sector concessionaires, instead of being built and financed by Eskom itself. So there's going to be a combination of Eskom investment as well as private sector investment that's going to and that's a significant amount. And also Eskom have to look at new generation capacity to replace its aging fleet. The fleet is going to start coming off. Some of the older plants will start coming off from 2030 onwards, and those are going to need to be replaced. And there's a lot of capital expenditure involved there.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Energy expert Chris Yelland giving us some insight as Eskom reports a profit for the first time since 2017.